Well, hi everybody. Ken Johnson here with you, and hopefully we're not having any audio issues tonight. We did well earlier today with no audio issues, so hopefully we continue with no audio issues here tonight. Remember, last night we had a lot of issues with that. A couple things new. I've been working on while I was watching. What a great game that Cincinnati Bengal and that Kansas City Chief game and was. Of course, congratulations to the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. That was actually, and Ryan, I will answer your questions. Actually, I did not. I missed both of those. First time this whole playoff season, really, I've missed any playoff predictions. So I missed that one. So I predicted the 49ers and the Bengals, and the officials helped the Bengals out. Helped the Chiefs out a lot tonight. I thought the Bengals were the better team, but oh well. At the end of the day, they didn't win. So all right, so that game was amazing. What a finish! But again, Ryan, I think the officials really hurt the Bengals there. That push out of bounds was weak. I mean, he was going. What's a player supposed to do? Just he can't stop at that point in time. I hate when the officials and the NFL officials have ruined football. I mean, I hate it when they dictate and decide the outcomes of games. They've really ruined it. All right, so enough of that. Let's talk about the weather and talk about what is going on. Few things here. While I was watching the game, I was working on just trying to come up with good looks here. You know, things that are appealing, things that you want to watch, and I come up with a little different background here for you. It may be too dark. We may have to lighten it up some, but I kind of like that though for now. Also, you see a little blue bar there above my picture. It says the follower goal. I'm trying to increase my reach on social media. Right now on my Facebook page, I have 31,720 followers. My goal by February the 1st is to get that up to 32,000 even. With your help, I can get there. All right, so let's talk about football. Or football. Let's talk about footballs on my brain. Let's talk about the weather, and we can talk about football. You know, I really didn't. Javier, I really didn't have a team I was pulling for in that game. Just a good game, both teams, great teams. I just felt like that. You know, yeah, he did push him out of bounds, but I felt like that. You know, I mean, I understand the penalty, but I just hate the officials decide these games. So I just can't stand that. All right, so before we get into the weather, I want to talk about the fact that I still do not think, at least over the next few days, this is going to be a major ice event for us. At least it doesn't look like it here in where we're at, southern Oklahoma, North Texas, or Northwest Texas. But with that said, there will still be, even with just the lightest of ice, there still could be some issues there. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. Mostly what we're looking at would be some slick roadways. Not a whole lot out there right now, but towards morning, we'll probably see an area of light sleet or light freezing drizzle that's going to try to develop. And even though it's really light, it's still going to coat those bridges and overpasses, so they'll become slick. I have talked to the WFISD, and I think that they're just going to monitor the situation in the morning. I think that as of right now, everything is as it is on go to class tomorrow, and they'll keep an eye on it in the morning. And if anything changes, then we'll see what happens with that. But you know, my advice was, if you're going to delay, might as well cancel. So Tuesday maybe, we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about the evening weather data coming in. You know, and I will say this, that the models have kind of trended lighter with some of this activity here, even more so. But I'm going to show you a scenario. If you're watching me from the Metroplex, you could be in trouble. So here we are, first thing in the morning, and what I want you to first off notice is up north of the Red River, it looks like some cellular activity is trying to develop. Even though it's cold outside, the air aloft, just above the Earth's surface, is pretty warm. So that creates what we call elevated instability. And there could be even some little thunder showers or thunderstorms that may try to develop. And if they do, they would either be a thunder sleet, or perhaps maybe a little increase in freezing rain. But I think that a lot of that would probably be sleet. But if you notice down to the south, there might be some of those little showers, little sleet showers or freezing drizzle, even into North Texas, into the earliest parts of the afternoon. But then look what happens as that activity spreads over closer to the Metroplex. And it's going to be cold there too. That is thunderstorm activity that could result in some significant icing over in the Metroplex and down towards Waco and into Austin and San Antonio. Cleburne, down towards Stephenville, those areas south of the Metroplex. Could be some pretty significant icing. That extends up to southeastern parts of Oklahoma, just east of I-35, into northwest Arkansas. That could wind up being a pretty significant ice storm in the morning. Now, that little wave kind of moves on, and then we get to tomorrow night and early on Tuesday, and you can see another little wave developing from the south. That, again, that's mostly freezing drizzle, maybe some sleet pockets, but again, over towards the Metroplex, Dallas, Denton, Decatur, it just looks heavier to me over there. So that could wind up being some pretty significant icing for the Metroplex and into southeastern Oklahoma. And then as we head towards Tuesday night and Wednesday, you still have this zone, this flow of loft out of the southwest. So you still have moisture. We'll have to see how things unfold for a Wednesday. The weather information, especially the European, has backed off on the amount of precipitation for Wednesday, whereas the NAM model continues to show some. We'll talk about all that in a minute. Let me go and show you the winter masks on here, though, and that's what I'm talking about. If you look, you're going to see some darker colors show up. There's your freezing drizzle, and where you see these little darker shades of purple, that's probably going to be some sleet, I would think, or maybe pockets of heavier freezing rain. Look at that developing towards Dallas tomorrow early in the afternoon. And then again on Tuesday night, there's your freezing rain, light sleet, and then pretty heavy over close to Denton and into the Metroplex, and then that extends northward. So as of right now, if we look at accumulations between now and then too, you're seeing some areas, and this is the computer model forecast, and these are probably off. Could be some pockets over close to the Metroplex if this is correct, up to about a half inch of ice accumulation. And if that's the case, that is going to be power outage type situations there, and even heavier in places to the south. But that's just one model. I do like this particular model with this type of a situation. The further west and north you go, the lighter the ice amounts appear to be. But some of that could wind up being sleet. And if that's the case, then that brings your ice totals, your freezing rain totals down. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. But the Metroplex south and east could be hit pretty hard with this, with some power outages. An ice storm for you. For us, again, looks mostly like a bit of a nuisance. More of a travel issue than anything else. Here is the NAM computer model. It usually does a good job of handling these shallow cold air masses, and it shows a little bit over tomorrow morning. And then there's your next wave. It kind of keep the evening data is kind of keeping it down towards the Metroplex. And then as we get into Wednesday, there's your ice storm for Northwest Texas Wednesday into Wednesday night. That's when we'd start seeing our best chances for more of a significant ice accumulation here. But I still don't think that it's going to be a lot. But you can see the NAM model does have us up to a half inch of ice there too. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But still, as of right now, it looks like Wednesday into Wednesday night, at least in northwest Texas, southwest Oklahoma, would see the most significant icing. And if that were to happen there, that would be a significant ice storm, and that would create bigger problems than just travel. But the NAM model is also lighter down towards the Metroplex. I'm not a big fan of the NAM model. It's like my buddy says, the NAM model is a garbage model unless it's not. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see. Here's a higher resolution run of it. Sometimes it'll do a better job of picking up on some things, but I'm not a big fan of it either. But you can see, look at that heavy sleet and maybe freezing rain. Oklahoma City, maybe Lawton in northwestern parts of Oklahoma. And it's even this run of this keeps a lot of it to the south of us on Tuesday. We do have the first alert weather day intact for Tuesday, but it may be a situation where we just wind up not seeing much until Wednesday. That's a lot of the latest trends anyway. Let's see if the latest the GFS ensembles are out yet. I don't think they are. No, a little early for that. Let's see if the GFS operational model is out yet. It may be a little early for that too. No, there it is. Now you got to take this one with a grain of salt. It's going to be off, probably some. It's not showing much. It actually has most of our activity over us on Tuesday morning, and then there it is developing it northward on Wednesday. But it's probably going to warm things up too fast. I would think we'd see more in the way of freezing precipitation on Wednesday than what this is probably showing. All right, well, with that said, bottom line, We can look at some quickly look at some other high resolution data before we go. And I'm going to answer your questions if you'll just give me a minute. I'm over on the Pivotal Weather site now. And you probably hear my dog in the background. That's Miley. She won't sit here with me. But and I would let her in, but I'm afraid she's going to knock over some things. Miley's a really good dog. She probably wouldn't. Her and Lucky are probably my best two. Ginger's pretty good too, though. I also got Henry. He's big. He's a big old English cream golden retriever. We got him up in Minnesota. He comes from the UK over there in Russia and those areas. Ukraine, not UK, Russia. That's where his family is. So let's see. I couldn't let Jazzy in here. Jazzy's she's too rambunctious. She's hyper. All right, so if we take a look at things here, look at all that rain. By the way, there's been a lot of rain and flooding across. Well, actually these high resolution WRF models are not in yet. Doesn't look like them. Not the evening data anyway. Let me see if here's one that I look at for just laughs. It's usually wrong, but it's off too. It's not in yet either, so I'm not even going to fool with showing these. There's all kind of stuff that we look at, people. But a lot of it, again, you just kind of take with a bit of a grain of salt. And you have to use what you know about weather when you're forecasting weather. And these situations are never, ever, ever easy to forecast at all. There's your advisories. We have winter storm watches for North Texas, winter weather advisories for southern Oklahoma. In my opinion, the whole area, exception maybe the eastern parts of the area, should just be in a winter weather advisory. I just don't know that we're going to see. A winter storm warning would be for a more significant ice event or a significant snow event. There's a certain threshold. It's like a quarter of an inch of ice. And this part of the country, I think it's above 3 inches of snow. Other parts of the country, it's less than that. But in here, I think that's what the criteria is. And I just think that the ice amounts, at least over most of northwest Texas, look pretty light, although some of the eastern counties could get a little bit heavier. Some of southern Oklahoma might get a little bit heavier. But down towards the Metroplex, I wouldn't be surprised to see a warning come out down there. These were the weather service graphics. I don't forecast with the weather service. They got some good forecasters up there themselves. Some good guys up there at forecast. They do a good job. But I've been looking at weather patterns myself a long time, and I've been working in this area for a long time, so I usually know what to look for and what not to look for. But you can see how it has just the light areas of precipitation over us and whatnot. So, all right. So let me take now time to answer your questions, and let me see if, like I said, I've been working with this new stuff here. So let me see how it works out here. There's that. Well, I don't think that I've got it set up that correctly yet. So to do what I was going to do there, it's all right. We can do this here. It's fine. We can play. I can answer your questions off screen. It won't be quite as cool as what I was wanting to do, but it'll be fine. We can do it. And I'll just fix these graphics a little bit. I'll fix them this evening. Like I say, I'm developing new things, so we're going to have a situation where there's probably going to be some hiccups here or there, but they'll be fixed pretty soon. So, all right, so let's try to see these questions here. Oh, somebody sent me a message. Looks like some French there. Sorry, I cannot read French. Sorry. I can read a little Spanish, but not much. All right, so of course we first started talking about some football there, and when I start doing my podcast, we'll do some more with some more football. And Ryan O'Malley wants to know Eagles or Chiefs. Man, the Chiefs have been very good all year. So have the Eagles, and I always try to discount the Eagles. I'm gonna pick the Eagles in the Super Bowl. All right, so Melinda Eccles, Ken Weather from Iowa to Oklahoma, family coming from jobs with trucks. Yeah, it's going to be pretty rough. It'll be pretty icy. It's not going to be easy this week at all. That's not a good area to be driving in. It was a good game, Javier. Very good game. You're welcome, James. Can you zoom the screen. I can zoom the screen. Let's do that real fast here. And I'm going to make some graphics where it zooms in and it'll look better. Remember, this is a work in progress here. So, oh, look at there. My um, questions did start popping up there, but on the sides over there. But I don't. Let's see there. Yeah, let's just do that for now. It's not ready. I'm not ready to do. I'm not ready for that yet. So anyway, there's some work I still got to do on this. All right. So Ryan wants to know: do you think the National Weather Service is jumping the gun? They upgraded winter storm warning for Austin already and added winter weather advisory south and east earlier today. Wasn't yeah, I think so. I think winter storm warning down there is going to be a good call. I think that area is going to see probably some pretty good icing. Austin up to the Dallas Fort Worth area, Waco, those areas. Julie wants to know, cold in Lubbock, worst part is on the way. You're going to miss out on a lot of this in Lubbock. My daughter is down there now too, and she asked me before she left, hey, is there any way you can get me out of class? I have physics tomorrow and Wednesday, and I just don't know. You might get some freezing drizzle, but it's cold there for sure. We'll see what happens on Wednesday, but it looks like the worst of it's going to stay south and east of you. It's hard to say, Paige. I think that it looks to me like the worst of the weather comes in Wednesday, maybe Wednesday night. That's what it looks like to me right now. The stuff we see tomorrow and Tuesday looks fairly light, but still enough to create problems on the roadway. So we have to keep it. I think the highs tomorrow will stay in the 20s all day. I'm not sold yet GFS model. It's just getting kind of all over the place. It's probably not that far off, but the GFS, Darren, is probably not handling the temperatures correctly. The NAM will do a better job with that. And there is that French. I cannot talk French. I do appreciate the message there, though, but I can't talk French. So, all right, let's keep on going down here. Once it gets icy, Rochelle, I would think that roads probably wouldn't clear up until Thursday, maybe. We'll see. It just depends on what temperatures do. If they can climb a little bit, and I had a good explanation of freezing rain earlier. Heavier freezing rain tends to warm the atmosphere up, or at least warm the Earth's surface up, because it's bringing warm air down. So that would help melt a lot of stuff. But I think tomorrow and Tuesday both look like pretty gross days, and I would think both days would have quite a bit of ice around on them, I would think anyway. So right now I'm going to say Thursday. Maybe Wednesday, maybe just more of a bridge and overpass type thing on Wednesday, but I'm going to say Thursday for right now. Thanks, Tammy. I appreciate it. I do love my job. I had a good conversation with you guys earlier tonight and really enjoyed that. Yeah, you'll see some ice there in the morning up there in Lawton. In fact, they've issued first alert weather days up there in the Lawton area. To me, I just think that the precipitation looks too light for right now. To be able to go in and actually, issue first alert weather day for it. Again, it may be just mostly in the morning. We may not see a whole lot on Tuesday either. So Aaron says it's hard to see. Oh, okay. He's talking about football. Okay, so I'm going to have to go down. A lot of these things pop. We have freezing precipitation in the morning here. I think there will be some freezing drizzle or some sleet, light, Adam, but it doesn't take much. Light is enough to do major problems. And if we do get light and those bridges and overpasses start getting slick and we start getting some slick roadways, there's going to be a lot of accidents. So I could see, a scenario if that happens prior to school starting, then the schools canceling. I think tomorrow is useless to just delay. You need to either cancel or go. And I am in favor of just seeing how things are in the morning. Matter of fact, I told Ashley just to see how things are in the morning. Graham, you're kind of in that zone. You could see some pretty decent some pretty decent freezing rain down there. I think the worst is just east of you though. I think tomorrow afternoon in Stephenville could be pretty rough. Maybe in the morning. So Stephenville, it's pretty, especially south and east of Stephenville, it's pretty rough. And again, just kind of a waiting game to see what happens with school, Kobe. We'll have to just see what happens with those roads in the morning. If it's precipitating in the morning, any at all, it don't matter if it's heavy, if it's light, then school's going to be canceled. You're welcome, Mitzi. I'm just going to say, if we get that, Lindsay wants to know, when will the road conditions be the worst in Wichita? Again, light freezing drizzle will make them bad tomorrow. Light freezing drizzle or light freezing rain would make them bad on Tuesday. Now, if we see mostly sleet, like light sleet, that might not give us that much of a problem. Because you'd have to steadily get that sleet in there for it to really accumulate on the ground. But if we get the drizzle, that's a different story. You can just get a little fine layer of black ice with that, and then you're screwed. But right now, I'm thinking the worst of the weather comes in on Wednesday. But that's just the way it looks now. I can update that again tomorrow. I appreciate the setup. Look, like I said, I've got a lot of work to still do on it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting to some things that I like, but I still have a ways to go. Eventually, I'm going to add the green screen on this too, and lights in a really cool studio background. Thank you to my wife. She's the one that's been pushing me to do this. So I can't pull for the Eagles chance. I can't stand. I really don't like the Eagles. I don't like the 49ers either. But I don't like the Eagles at all. No, I can't stand them. I think their fans are the worst. The only thing I will say is when the Cowboys lose, it's pretty funny to watch Stephen A. He is really funny. So you're having a hard time hearing me. So let me turn my volume up a little bit and see. I turned this down a little bit because I thought it might be a little bit too staticky, or it when it's up high, when the gain is up a little bit too high, then sometimes it'll just punch through, and that makes the audio kind of distorted and whatnot. So it'll be a process. I have things to do and changes to make, but I do like this. I'm using what's called Streamlabs, and a lot of streamers use this. A lot of gamers use this, and I like this. I'm adding. I'll have features where I can pull out storm chasers this spring and show it to you. I can cover a lot of weather from home if I need to. So a lot of things I can do from home that I'm excited about. As you know, we've just transitioned into a new era of news and weather now. You got to be to where you can be here as well as on TV. You got to be in multiple places at one time. So I'm excited about it. Is it off and on tomorrow and the same for Tuesday? I kind of think it is, Lindsay. Kind of looks like morning, maybe in the early afternoon tomorrow, and then some of the data not bringing a lot in on Monday. So maybe Tuesday morning could be a little bit around, but I just don't know. What will the temps be on Wednesday? Darren wants to know. Local mesonet. That's not going to be accurate. They just don't handle, models don't handle Arctic air very well. They never, like for instance, they had us in the 30s and 40s today, and we got up this morning, it was 25 outside. So I mean, they usually are too slow with bringing it in. They're usually not cold enough, and then they try to move it out too quickly. So a lot of times, if you're looking at a situation like this, it'll show rain, but it'll wind up being freezing rain. So the NAM model is the one you want to go with as far as temperatures on this one. And I did turn it down a little bit, try to get back to that little happy medium. So hopefully, Adam Mark, you must be a pilot. Any idea? This will be stratiform clouds. They'll be real low. They will not be the tops will not be very high unless we do get some of those convective sleet showers, a little convection. Then you'll probably see, them being elevated, and the tops will be, they might go up to, 25,000 feet. But in general, they most of what we see is stratiform. So once you get to that stratiform layer, you're usually above it. So. Ryan wants to know, am I a fan of Skip Bayless? I think he whines and cries a lot. I don't really like to watch him and Shannon Sharp. They argue too much, and I don't like that. I mean, it's fun to do. I'm a bigger fan of Stephen A. I think Stephen A is funny. No, I don't think so, Bo. I don't think this is going to be a repeat of the 2007 ice storm. Now, maybe in the Metroplex, maybe over that way, could be pretty rough. But like I say, I just don't think we're going to see a lot of that, at least over here in northwest Texas. Mostly looks light. More of a travel issue than anything. But Wednesday could be a little worse. We'll keep an eye on that. Well, I see that looks like most of what we're going to have here, most of our questions there that have been asked here this evening, and I do appreciate you guys um, asking questions. And again, my follower goal is 32,000 by March the 1st. Right now we're at 31,721, looks like. So, I need to get that up. I set a goal. You guys can help me get to that goal. And the reason I set that goal is because I don't know, I just want to be able to reach more people. So that's why we're doing that. Also, always give me feedback on these new things I'm doing. If it's a little bit too busy for you, if you like something, if you don't like something, then please be sure to let me know so I can make the necessary changes to it. And like I say, it's a work in progress, and we're going to do we're going to have a lot of fun with this, I think, in the future. Ryan Hall is somebody that I've kind of mimicked this after. Trying to bring that to the TV too. No, sleet cannot knock your power out. Sleet is like, Bo Baker wants to know, can sleet knock your power out? No, what sleet's like little rocks, little pieces of gravel you throw on the ground. It doesn't stick to trees. It doesn't stick to like tree limbs and whatnot. It doesn't stick to and weigh them down. It doesn't stick to power lines. I mean, it can a little bit, but it's not going to do enough. Like freezing rain coats it and glazes it, and then the more ice you put on that, the more it weights it down. Sleet doesn't do that. Sleet just rolls off. It's like a little pebble. But one thing I don't like about sleet is when it starts to melt, it kind of clumps together and it sticks around. It takes it up forever to melt. Forever. And if you're like me and you have dogs and they're going in the backyard, then it's just always muddy and it doesn't dry up. So freezing rain and sleet are my two least favorite of anything to do. I don't like that at all. So Monte could see up to a 1/4 inch of ice, so William, we'll see how it all goes, but you're kind of in that area over that way that could be really close to that. I still think the worst might be just southeast of you, but it's close. So, my wife is asking me to do something. I guess she does. She's been sick this weekend, so I haven't really seen much of her. So, but all right. I am thankful again that you guys follow me here. I want to ask that you please follow me on Facebook, like my page, subscribe to my YouTube page, and again, comments on my new setups will be great. Any feedback would be great, and I'll be working on this to make it even better for you, more enjoyable, something that just hopefully will be a little bit better for us as we head towards the storm season. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great night. I'll have another update tomorrow morning. My advice is just to turn the TV on or check your app, your First Alert 6 weather app, or the News Channel 6 app should have things on there. We do at the TV station. We get so many businesses. We don't list businesses in general. Mostly, what they do is they run a crawl and tell you what schools might be canceled. My advice is just look outside. If it's some moisture falling out of the sky, pretty good chance you might not have school. But the best thing to do is just watch the news, check Facebook. Of course, the WFISD, and I think other school districts probably do this too now, where they call you or they text you. I know the WFISD will call and text. Well, I think they call. Yeah, they'll give me a call. So you'll be able to get that in the morning. So and again Tuesday and on Wednesday, and I'll have an update on weather tomorrow. I'm not sure where New Walla, Oklahoma is, Cheryl, but yeah, up that way there will be some ice in Oklahoma, especially Oklahoma City and eastward and southeastward it should be. Northwest maybe not, but east and southeast and central should. So again, if we're going to see significant icing, I think it would come on Wednesday night, maybe early Thursday, and unless we do warm up by then, we'll have to just see. Everything's just kind of a see. Let's just see how it goes. All right, well, I'm going to get a shower, and I'm going to bed.